Tagwirei. In a moment, you will understand why Tagwirei is impossible to stop. And I will break down how he was set up by Zanu-PF Harare Province to fail. He reminds me of when I was in high school and there was a kid, angari mwana mskanzwa, baraigo na chikoro. See, Tagwirei has built influence deeper than any person has influence in Zimbabwe, barring the president, the first lady, and probably Uber Angel. It's very possible that you can be winning and losing at the same time in Zanu-PF. Say what you like, but he has done an incredible amount of things right. He is also like the rich parent whose kids are all on the first team because the dad is sponsoring the team. Everybody loves the dad until the dad wants to become a coach, but even worse, until the dad wants to wear the uniform and become a player. I've been listening a lot to Chris Muchangwa, who I think is the brightest person I've ever met. And he is right about something. Zanu-PF is the millionaire factory. It's the number one business model in Zimbabwe. In the book 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, law number one says, do not outshine the master. Now, while I do not believe in any way whatsoever that Tagwirei is trying to outshine the master, the problem that he is facing is that he has outshined everybody to the master. And I remember being a kid, I was confused whether my mom was giving me a warning or a threat. She would say, "Kangoma kako kakuririsa, kakuda kuputika." There wasn't a threat, it was a signal. Chris Muchangwa's press conference, which still births Tagwirei's central comedy campaign, was not a warning or an insult or a threat. It's a signal. It's a signal of what is happening in the minds of the Zanu-PF Elder Council. Over the last week, every timeline has had a barrage of Tagwirei news, whether he was graduating in Nigeria, whether he was playing golf. Yesterday, the former finance minister, Tendai Biti, came and gave a press conference characterizing his dismay at Tagwirei state capture. But you understand, Tagwirei was almost in the Zanu-PF Central Committee? Almost. Again, I listened to Ambassador Chris Muchangwa beach slapping the Tagwirei Gabbard. To me, it's a masterclass in how even the most sophisticated financial savant can stumble into the political dustbin when they misread the co-option playbook. But I insist, Tagwirei was set up. You see, politics, as they say, is show business for the ugly people. And nowhere is this more evident than in the recent spectacle of Tagwirei's clumsy waltz with Zanu-PF Central Committee. This isn't just another story about money and power. This is a cautionary tale about what happens when a prodigy of capital meets the absolute art form of that is Zanu-PF's absorption machinery. Tagwirei fell for the Zanu-PF Harare Province hustle. Masters of the corn. Let me paint you a picture of the political genius. The kind that would make Jake Abroff fall off his chair. Harare Province, Zanu-PF, these non-sophisticates with their slick moves and empty promises orchestrated what I could only describe as the political equivalent of a Ponzi scheme. They made Tagwirei open his wallet wide, knowing full well from the onset that they were selling what was equivalent to teaching a grasshopper how to sing the national anthem. And this is where the innuendo becomes crystal clear. Harare Province isn't even a legitimate political structure. They're the weakest Zanu-PF province, loudest and noisiest. Their political performance with Zanu-PF Harare Province is a group of political performers who walk around with empty briefcases, selling dreams to billionaires like oil salesmen at a country fair. This was the Harare boob job, all cosmetic enhancement with no structural foundation. Harare Province is the same province that delivered the Grace Mugabe chaos. Do you remember Grace Mugabe? She was co-opted by Harare Province. sleazy political sleazeballs who damn near ascended Grace Mugabe into political presidency. And now they found a financial maverick who they wanted to sell him a seat at the high table, but it's a seat he doesn't need. Listen, Tagwirei does not need to be in the Central Committee. Any political autopsy of Zanu-PF Harare Province will tell you that if you remove Harare South and Airport from Harare, it's the kiss of death of politics. The speed and scale at which Zanu-PF in Harare dies is chronic. Since President Emerson Mnangagwa has been president, he has not and cannot fill any stadium in Harare without busing people from literally every province in Zimbabwe. Zanu-PF has hemorrhaged an average of 12 percentage election points in the last two elections in Harare. And had it not been for the advent of gerrymandering and delimitation, we probably wouldn't have the Zanu-PF comfort majority that we enjoy. Harare has earned its stripes as the co-option capital for Zimbabwe, and for good reason. This is where Zanu-PF's sophisticated absorption tactics are perfected. Unlike other provinces with genuine political structures and ideological frameworks, Harare operates as a pure transactional hub, a political marketplace where everybody and everyone has a price tag. This is the province where grasshoppers of the political party can spring up without any warning. Political opportunists, who you can't tell where they came from, can suddenly become Central Committee material. It's a breeding ground for what I call political ideological nothingness. Politicians who elect Zanu-PF are different from politicians who co-opt in Zanu-PF. Do you remember when Donald Trump once said, "I gave my money in case I needed a favor later"? He said this when he used to finance political parties in the United States. Well, Kudakwashe Tagwirei just learned the hard way that in Zimbabwe's political ecosystem, giving money up front doesn't guarantee you get the favor when you need it. The closing of the door on Tagwirei's co-option has turned what should have been a smooth political investment into an uphill battle against the very system that he tried to buy into. Here's where Tagwirei's political education gets expensive. In Zanu-PF's complex hierarchy, certain key pillars are simply not for sale. Obet Mpofu is not for sale. Chris Muchangwa is not for sale to Tagwirei. Kemba Mohadi is not for sale. Patrick Chinamasa. These are the political Rothschilds of the party, the untouchables, who built their power with more than just financial influence. Now, but provinces, on the other hand, oh, you can absolutely buy provinces. You can hire Bulawayo. Harare is the single most unelected and unelectable blind spot for the president. This assumption that loyalty can be bought and maintained through patronage alone. The ED playbook has created a true new Zimbabwe vision where Zimbabweans can own anything. But it has also created a dangerous precedent where political positions become commodities in the marketplace of influence. This dynamic mirrors what we've seen across Africa and beyond. Think of the oil magnates in Nigeria who tried to buy their way into political relevance, only to discover that traditional power structures don't bend easily to new money. Or consider the tech entrepreneurs in Kenya who learned that disrupting the political sector requires more than the same algorithm that disrupted business. Tagwirei is what Elon Musk was to Donald Trump, a wealthy outsider, convinced that financial influence can translate directly into political power. But unlike Musk, who understood the American political system's vulnerabilities, Tagwirei misread Zimbabwe's co-option machinery entirely. In Zimbabwe's political context, reputational damage has become the replacement weapon to a headshot. When the co-option machine turns against you, it doesn't just reject your membership application. It systematically dismantles your credibility, your networks, and your future political aspirations. Tagwirei is learning that being bigger than Strive Masiwa now in financial terms doesn't automatically translate into political influence. The sound of the presidential siren, haha, that intoxicating call of ultimate power, can make the most rational heads in Zimbabwe go nuts. Tagwirei has it all: the wealth, the connections, the business acumen, everything except the siren. But he's not the only one who wants it. And therein lies the dangerous beauty of Zimbabwean succession politics. Here's what we understand: the fundamental disconnect between financial strategists and political operators. Money players like Tagwirei are invested in the long term. They think in decades, in generational wealth, sustainable influence. Politicians, however, play the term game. They're focused on the immediate electoral cycle, the next cabinet shuffle, the current patronage distribution. ED is undoubtedly the hottest stock in Zimbabwe's political market. But in every conversation, among every tour player, the obsessive question is always, what happens after ED? This is what keeps billionaires awake at night, trying to make political calculations. Tagwirei's recent stumble isn't just about co-option, it's about miscalculating the timeline of political investment. The man could theoretically become president of Zimbabwe. Yeah, Kudakwashe Tagwirei can become president of Zimbabwe, but not now. Timing in politics is as critical as timing in the financial markets. The false starts in the political arena are going to cost him money. It's going to cost him the element of surprise. It's going to cost him the strategic advantage that comes with being misunderstood and underestimated. This isn't uniquely a Zimbabwean phenomenon. If you look across Africa, we've witnessed similar patterns of wealthy individuals attempting to purchase political relevance, only to discover that traditional power structures are more resilient than expected. From Aliko Dangote's careful navigation of Nigerian politics to the Oppenheimer's family historical influence in South African politics, the relationship between wealth and political power remains complex and often treacherous. The difference lies in understanding that politics isn't just about money. It's about narrative, timing, and reading the cultural undercurrents that drive the public sentiment. Tagwirei's political education is happening in public and it's expensive, not just financially, but reputationally. Part of the reason we pay such obsessive attention to Tagwirei's political journey is because we are fundamentally political vampires. We can't go a day without sinking our analytical teeth into something politically fresh, without dissecting the latest power play or strategic miscalculation. But this vampiric tendency serves as a critical democratic function. It keeps the powerful accountable. Tagwirei's story has shown us all what money can do in politics. But more importantly, it shows us what money cannot do when it's encountering sophisticated resistance. In the end, what we're witnessing with Tagwirei isn't just individual political ambition. It's a stress test of Zimbabwe's entire political system. Zanu-PF remains the number one business entity in Zimbabwe. And anyone seeking to challenge or join that enterprise better understand the first law of power: never outshine the master. Until next time, head bowed.